Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys. So Bears took a shot at it today, and Bulls ended up proving that they are still in control. I know it's crazy. We're in an uptrend. We're pulling back into previous all-time highs. It's absolutely nuts that Bulls ended up taking the wheel again. Nuts. But that is what we have here today, guys. I am just going to let you guys know before we get into things today that, yeah, Bulls, they're back in the driver's seat. All right, Bears had their chance today. It was looking real ugly, and boom, they ended up bringing things right back up. QQQ looks even better over here. All right, does not look bad. You know, I'm just going to say we still have a chance to see this turn into a big green weekly candlestick by Friday. And, you know, I just wouldn't doubt that at this point in time. I just wouldn't. You know, Bears had their chance yesterday and today. It looked real ugly, and they saved it. You know, all we have is we're still range bound. All right, that is it. You know, you come over here to VIX. You did get above that 1785 level we mentioned yesterday, and you did get all the way up to 20. But then you ended up closing like this. This makes me think they're probably going to be bringing VIX down a bit. All right. And then again, just with how SPY closed out on the daily chart over here, guys, the daily candle doesn't look bad. And then you come over here to something like DIA. We pointed this out yesterday. They're going to defend it right here, 438.70 here. It starts coming down to 433.20. What happened? You got bought right off the 21 EMA. Come over here to IWM. What happened? You got bought right off the 21 EMA. You know, so I really don't think we're going to be moving down in the short term here. We can, all right, but until proven otherwise, Bulls are in control, and they just reminded everyone of that today. Let's go over the levels over here on SPY, QQQ, IWM, then we'll jump right into the Mag 7 stocks, and I have some trade ideas at the end of this video just for you. All right, on the upside, we have 625.16, 626.28, 627.86, and then we're talking 630. On the downside, 623.01, 621.53, 619.52, 617.87. We take out 618.87. At that point, we're coming down to 613.23. That is SPY. Coming over here to QQQ. Doesn't look all that bad. On the upside, guys, we're just talking 560.80. All right. We almost got up there. All right. We're getting real close, guys. We almost got back up there. You know, we were all the way down here today, and boom, there's a 6-point recovery. So I'm just going to say, guys, next stop is 560.80. If we can get above there, we're going to 565. On the downside, we're watching 557.20. All right, that's honestly like the top of the range we got going on right here. We'll call that a false breakout, but it's looking like we want to resume back upwards. Look at how the 4-hour chart is set up, guys. If we do fade, we do fade. It is what it is. You know, if you get underneath 552.80 again, you're probably going to have a larger pullback here. We're probably going to revisit all-time highs at 540.81, previous all-time highs. On the downside, you have 552.80, 549.58, 544.66, and 540.81. Coming over here to IWM, you got bought up right at the 21 EMA. On the upside, guys, we have today's high. All right, we're going to take off that level wave. Today's high at 221.37, 223.01, 224.23, and then 226.14. The downside, 218.41, guys. You don't want to give up 218.41. Underneath there, we have 215.93 and then 211.95. All right, and then coming over to DIA, I don't normally cover it, but, you know, it's everything coming together here. On the upside, you get through 445, guys. You get that alert getting hit right there. We're probably going to take out 448.86 and push back up to all-time highs at 451.55. All right, now we'll come over here to the Mag 7 stocks. We'll start off with GOOG, guys. It's a little concerning that we're not really getting the follow through over here, especially when you had the market rebounding as much as it did today. On the upside, above 185.41, we have 188.71. On the downside, 182.45. Underneath there, 180.77. Amazon, we just had 815, 225C getting swept for, I believe it was 2.5 mil. All right, that's something to consider. You're pulling back into this previous range. There's a 5-point range. So far, we had a false breakout over here, but I have a feeling this is going to be bought up. If the rest of the market is going to continue getting bought up into end of week, this is going to go with it. If the market doesn't get bought up into end of week, then maybe this thing comes down, revisits to 1840. Let's see what happens. NVDA, not exactly the most bearish thing in the world. This is probably going to take out 172.40 highs. All right, probably by end of week, I feel like we're going to have a solid green bar here, closing out the high come Friday. Apple. All right, guys, expect buyers to take the wheel. We're just pulling back. We're testing the weekly 21 here. Once this weekly cloud ends up flipping, which I'm telling you, if we get back up above 215, this thing's probably going to be flipping. All right, back to green here. And as we can see, that's when good things happen. We're going to have a few weeks at that point where we're going to be safe on buying dips. Okay. But yeah, larger reversal is underway here. We're trying to break out through this, this little range we got going on. We got to get through 214.56 for that to be the case. We got this bullish consolidation going on here. You can see on the 4-hour chart. We're trying to break this trend line. We technically already did end of day today. If we can get through 212.40, we have 213.48, 214.56, 216.23, and then 219.38. On the downside, you want to be holding 28.42, or we risk testing 206.24. Really don't want to lose that level. Microsoft, all right, it's looking like it wants to take out 506.78 tomorrow. Watch that dap and watch the move to 510. Tesla, arguably the strongest Mag 7 stock on the day. The 2027 700 call buyers are relentless over the past week and a half now, continuing to come in hot today. On the upside, you have 325.58 above there, 335.50 above there. You have a trend line break at that point, and things might get a little spicy. If you get above 367.71, you move to 400. That's Tesla. On the downside, if you lose 314.74, it's probably coming back down to 304, 305. Meta, not much of a recovery, even though we had a big old recovery intraday on SPY and QQQ. You're underneath the 21 EMA. You found buyers today right at 699.05. But honestly, I'd say this is looking pretty weak. I wouldn't really be touching it long. I don't see a reason to. I think Apple is really the most appealing here, and I hate to say it, but NVIDIA, it's up at highs. It looks like it's going to be continuing higher. This and Microsoft are the ones sitting at highs that I'll say just look pretty obvious, like they want to continue pushing. All right, obvious longs here. I wouldn't be touching Meta. I don't think there's a reason to touch Amazon. All right, and GOOG, honestly, at this point, I still think we're getting a move, but it's probably going to happen into the end of the week if we get it. If it doesn't happen this week, then I don't know. We might be pulling back and staying in this consolidation longer than we expected. We'll see what happens into end of week. All right, now let's go over some things. First thing, we're just going to cover Bitcoin here. All right, Bitcoin, guys, get above 120K, and we're probably going to start pushing back up. If we take out 121.7K, if you get above there, you hit that alert there, you're going up to 123.236. You're going to take that out. And then 125 is incoming. I think it's very likely that we do recover the weekly candle here by end of week, and we do close it out strong. I just think that's probable. MSTR, guys, I think we're about to be heading up for that next leg. Currently at 455.90. Above 456, guys. 456.45. We're going 470.480 into the end of the week. This weekly candle is minuscule. The range it's lackluster. All right. We're going to expand this weekly candlestick into the end of the week. It is something that we could be taking advantage of. This is a very small weekly candle compared to what we normally have. Even if it's just going to be something like that, that's 50 points right there. Right now, we're at less than 20 points of range. I think we're talking maybe 480, 490, but I'd say 470, 480 is a good target into end of week here. I think it's going to happen. And it looks like on the 4-hour chart here that this thing is just starting to break up and take flight. I think we could have a big day tomorrow. Get ready for it. If not tomorrow, end of week. And then, as we know, we're probably going to keep making new highs every week over the coming weeks. After we got this higher time frame break of structure, next 2 to 3 weeks, we're prepared for every week is going to be higher highs. All right. You know, we only got 1 to 2 weeks left of this. We're here to take advantage of it. And if we push up 470, 480, it's not a bad idea to be taking profits into that. All right, maybe we get a pullback early next week. There's your next opportunity. And then all of a sudden we take this bad boy up to 500 bucks. Maybe we go 500 this week. I don't know, but it does look like this thing's about to break up from this 3-day range here. And I'd say it's very likely going to have a 20-point, move, maybe even tomorrow. That brings you up 475. Coinbase started moving today, got sucked right back in, but the 4-hour chart does suggest this thing is probably about to be making moves tomorrow. All right, Coinbase. We're talking 410, 420. SMCI. Guys, it's not time for the ripper. Not just yet. Maybe it's going to start tomorrow, but it did not happen. Okay, you didn't get your second gap up there. We're not getting a crazy week. Maybe you do into end of week. I just don't know. All right. But, yeah, I still do think this thing is going to keep making new highs here. I think it probably continues pushing this week, and maybe we continue and see $60 next week. Just not the crazy move we talked about in yesterday's video. All right. On the upside, today's high, 53.29 above there, 54.30 above there, 56.19. Shaping up nicely here on the daily time frame. You can see it well on the 4-hour as well. It looks like it wants that next little leg up. ASTS, it wants to push 54.05 above there, 56.57 likely incoming. I think we could test 54.05 tomorrow. All right, that was really the game plan here. But, as I identified, I think it was in yesterday's video. All right, all these green candles, guys, they go for, 25% or more. All right, 25, 26%, 27%. Right over here was 37%. And it's the same on most of these candles. But regardless, we got a trending weekly candlestick here. And yet, we only have 19% of range, just about 18.5%. All right, guys, if we're going to fulfill this, this condition we got here, 25% weak, we're coming 55, 56 by end of week. We only have 2 days left in the week. Happens probably tomorrow, my personal opinion. And then next week, whether you pull back or not is irrelevant. We're also going higher. Keep it on the radar. You had a gap up between these 2 weeks. You had a gap up between these 2 weeks. Okay, wherever we close on Friday, you very well could get a gap up. It's not certain. You also have a gap up right over there. All right, pullbacks are buying opportunities. ASTS. Oklo. Hope you guys are making some money. Oklo and SMR. SMR is at new highs today. Oklo above 64.78, guys. There's nothing until 69.40. And then we have 73.55. Above 64.78, 70 plus is incoming. Get ready, ladies and gents. Next week is probably going to be another big week as well. Oklo going to 80 bucks. SMR. New highs today. That was the target above. We gave this to guys, coming into the week. We got a lot of trade ideas constantly for you guys for free. All right. If you want to come trade with me, link is down below. I live stream every single day. Link is going to be down below. You're also going to have these, but I try and do my best and give you guys as much as possible over here. And guess what? You guys had SMR and Oklo coming into this week. They both got above their trigger levels. They're doing good things. SMR especially. Oklo above 59.14, I believe the level was. SMR above 38.39. It was ready to rumble. Target was going to be 45.31, new all-time highs. Now it's going to 50 bucks. Probably going to have another good week as well next week. If it pulls back, just like over here to start the week, it's a buying opportunity. That's SMR. Now we're talking sound, guys. Sound. I told you, I didn't know how long it would take, but typically if we're going to get this perfect, double top kind of look to you on that weekly chart, it's only a matter of time until that dip gets bought and you're back up at the high testing it. Weekly chart, daily chart, they're starting to shape up here. We got two hammers in the same week, right around the same area off the daily 21 EMA. My guess is this thing is about to start returning to the upside. Above today's high, 1188, we're talking 1265, 1342, and then 1535. That is sound. QBTS, guys, we talked about this one. We said, I know it may sound stupid, but, when you have these green candles followed by the red candles on the weekly time frame, most of them get followed by another green candle where we return right back up to the high that next week. That is what happened, okay? These are what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, where that condition was met, okay? And then you take this crap over here, okay? Guess what? You came right back up. You take this crap right over here, boom, you came right back up the next week. All right, that's what happened this week because you got this coiling pattern here going on the weekly time frame up here. It failed. You pulled back. You just kept reverting to the mean. Now you got this big old base going on here. I think tomorrow we might get a breakout. And I think because the move didn't happen over here, we get the same exact pattern going on over here. I think it's about to happen. Above 1754, we're talking 1977 and then 25 bucks incoming. Shopify. You guys knew about this one this whole time. The thing started breaking out today. Broke out above 118.65, also above 117.36. Broke both resistances all in one day. And what did we tell you guys? We told you in yesterday's video, if it breaks 117.36 again, it's probably going straight to 120.72. Close the day at 120. I think tomorrow we might be on our way to 124.19. All the way up here. Next one is TOST, toast. All right, big old base going on here. It looks like it's getting ready for a breakout. Get ready for it. Probably coming into end of week or early next week. It's going to start up. APP still hasn't broken above 361.76, but above there 380.70. Hood, guys, Hood, it did. I told you guys yesterday. I think it's getting ready for that breakout. It did get ready for the breakout, and it broke and it pushed 104. I think 110 is incoming. All right, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know, the shortest video we've had in a while. It's crazy. It's outrageous. It's crazy. All right, if you want to come trade with me, link is down below, guys. I appreciate you guys. All I ask is that you leave a like on the video so we can get these videos out to more people and grow our little channel over here. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys. And with that being said, guys, we're probably going higher tomorrow. Harder and higher tomorrow. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.